Alright, um, took uh, 4 trades today. I took 1 break-even trade and then 3 small losers. Um, so let's get into it. So, going into the day, we had rallied pretty hard out of here, so we were pretty much right about here. So I was just assuming we were going to go run up to this buy side level and then possibly go down maybe to take out all of this liquidity here. So zooming in some more, in the beginning of the day, we had this 1 hour fair value gap, and we came just shy of that buy side level, and then we dropped down into the 1 hour. So then what happened was we formed a little SMT off the open. We pushed up, and here's where once we started to retrace, like we inversed this, we had this 5-minute breaker here. So zoomed in, waited for us to respect that area. We had this inverse to this 1 minute. We bounced off that, and we started to generate some liquidity here. So we had this 1 minute. I went long at this 1 minute, stop below the low. It kind of started to fail in the beginning, but then right around 9:55ish, we started to rip to the upside, and I was targeting that external draw. The thing that I failed to recognize, I ended up getting stopped out at break even right on this move down here. What I failed to recognize in the moment, I sort of noticed it like as it was happening, but like too late for me to sort of make a trade off of it. We had a seek and destroy model, so I should have known this before the market even opened, but we took out Asia low, Asia high in the London session, and then New York session took out London high, and then took out London low. And you can tell, like, right after we took out London low is where price action pretty much stopped for the rest of the day. So that was the model in the morning. And so I thought we were gonna go run up to this high, but maybe I've only seen the seek and destroy happen like a handful of times, but it seems to be very, very strong. So this push higher in the morning, I guess, was just sort of like a fake out. But anyway, I guess the setup here, I wouldn't have taken anything in here really, but so we're still looking relatively bullish, but we kind of came above OTE, but we failed to take out these highs. I also didn't like how we had equal highs there as well. It's kind of nasty, but push to the downside, you had a 1 minute, and this is like your 1 minute breaker here. So if you took a short there, maybe you had to stop above here. Just ran straight to the London low. So of course I did not take that, but once we ripped to the downside like that, I was starting to think, because yesterday I was taking shorts, trying to target these equal lows that we made in here, and for the rest of the day we were just generating this trend line here, which I expected to get broken at some point. So once we had this big push, I was starting to think like, okay, I don't think we're gonna sweep this. I think we're gonna like now continue lower. We had a huge candle here, a huge fair value gap, and so I marked out OTE of this leg, and then I'll just delete that just to make it easier to look at. But I basically, like, I don't know why I'm getting like less disciplined, but yeah, I took two like really terrible trades, which was like the least disciplined I've been in months. I don't know why I took these trades, and I keep on like, trying to drill it into my own head that I need to be more disciplined, and I definitely sound like a broken record at this point, but I think I said that yesterday too. But I'm like, for whatever reason, I'm almost like getting less disciplined the harder I try to be disciplined. I don't know what's going on, but I'm a little out of it, I guess. I don't know what's good, but I saw like SMT here. We had come into discount or the premium of this range, and I was like, all right, this is like the turtle soup, so I just smacked a short, and then it just got ran through instantly. I don't even remember if I was looking at these charts. I think I might have been looking at the 15-second chart. Even still, there's nothing really there. I mean, if you displaced down to here and then pulled back, that maybe that would have been a setup, but yeah, and then we took that high and then, like broke through this low, and I shorted there as well. I mean, maybe if I had at least waited for a pullback, I wouldn't, and had a setup like this, I wouldn't be really upset about it, but I basically just sorry. I basically just where am I? I basically just saw us break this low, and I was like, all right, break of structure, and I just like smacked a short there too. Like if I had waited for maybe this fair value gap, tight stop there, like, it is what it is. When you're looking at this, like, that doesn't look all that bad. I mean, like, if I did take this trade and I got stopped here, it's a tight stop. It's fine. Something you could definitely recover from. I definitely shouldn't have taken either of these, though. And then it kind of took those two trades for me to, like, kind of, like, wake up a little bit and be like, what the fuck am I doing right now? Why am I trading like this? I literally never, like, just smack shorts or smack longs. Like, I always wait for a fair value gap. I was just trading emotionally, but we finally come into OTE a little bit, take out all of this buy side now, and actually had like a displacement move. The main reason why I'll just delete these at this point. The main reason why I was more interested in this too was we had this bullish 1 minute right here, like a big bullish fair value gap that we just ran through. We had this high and then displaced through this low, and then we also came below that low as well. So then this 1 minute fair value gap, I went short there. Let's see if we had any sort of internal model. Yeah, so took this high, came up, displacement down, had a fair value gap here. It was starting to look okay in the beginning, but it just stalled out a lot. Then we came back, had some more internal models where we take the highs and then displace down. So this price action here was sort of looking okay. We had like this fair value gap and stuff, but at this point, you really want to see this start to like accelerate to the downside. And then we just had like a huge displacement, after taking all of these lows and not really going anywhere. and I should have had my stop at break even, because I mean there's just no reason. Like, this price action was terrible. Like, I should have known to just protect myself. But once we started breaking above I think it was somewhere in between these two highs that I just collapsed the position, somewhere around here, because at this point I was looking at this saying, like, alright, this is without a doubt a low resistance liquidity run here. Like, look at that 1 minute candle. Like, all of this garbage price action and then just a massive candle. So I knew I was going to get stopped out here. So closed the position. And then I was like, alright, like, I am done. Like, what the fuck? So, yeah. We ended up coming into OTE and then just sort of dumping off here. I wouldn't have really traded anything in here just because of, like, how big this 1 minute was. And it was kind of a straight up, straight down move. But if I had not been an asshole and I just sat on the 5 minute chart a little bit more, I would have seen that we came up to OTE, right? We had this bullish 5 minute. We came into OTE, this price leg, pushed lower on the 5 minute, completely, ran through this huge bullish 5 minute fair value gap. And then this becomes your 5 minute breaker. And then we have two 5 minute fair value gaps here. One there, one there. And then we also have the new week opening gap, which price tends to sort of like use it as support and then use it as resistance and stuff. So, but regardless, we ended up, I'm pretty sure we formed an SMT here as well. And that was sort of your, like, turtle soup entry. We had this big 1 minute here as well. So, there's really not much reason for price to go much lower than this. I would have had a little bit wider of a stop for sure, probably above this high. So it's not the greatest R, but, still more than a 2-to-1. Maybe could have seen an internal model here. Again, though, that's a pretty big candle. I don't know if I would have shorted right here, but if you had conviction in that SMT, maybe you could have done that. But yeah, so regardless, we ended up pushing lower there. And then the end of the day, again, which was similar to yesterday, where we just sort of consolidated all day and then had like a big end of the day move yesterday, where we had this model at the end of the day where price was just kind of garbage all day and then all of a sudden became efficient. But we had all this low resistance liquidity now. Like, we had come up, we basically, held this trend line like the entire day, and then we had that, and then we formed this, little low resistance liquidity trend line there as well. Continued to hold this breaker on the 5 minute as well as this fair value gap, and then after we pushed lower, we then had this 5 minute, held that 5 minute as well as the breaker again, and then had this like 5 minute BPR where you have the inverse stacked right on top of the fair value gap. I'm sure you could have had a model here. We came up to OTE, respected that, push lower. This was the BPR. You had a fair value gap here. This is your BPR as well as a little 1 minute fair value gap there. You know, probably could have taken some sort of setup in here, expecting that this was going to become low resistance liquidity, you know, at least to this low, but you'd kind of expect that that would spark the move to go take out these lows, and it did. And then we went much further as well. But yeah, I don't know. I'm having a really difficult time with the price action lately, and I think it's just sort of, you know, we are just in a range. Just took out all-time highs. Are we bullish? Are we bearish? I have no idea. You know, like, we're sitting inside of just like this massive daily fair value gap. You know, we were holding this like volume imbalance for a long time, and we're just sort of generating levels. Like, we didn't even take that buy side level. You know, still left this huge 1 hour open, which is just very weird. I mean, not weird, I guess we're just generating liquidity. But like, we didn't even tap into this 1 hour fair value gap either, which is just odd as well. You know, maybe that's just generating a sell side level to then rebalance into this 1 hour, so there's some more liquidity there, who knows. But yeah, I'm having a tough time with this price action. I mean, realistically, I should have just probably not even placed a trade this entire month, because I'm now red on the month. I'm only red like $20, but still, you know, I've only had one red month so far, which is December. All the other months I've been doing relatively decent, so you know, having a tough time this month for sure, just from the sort of range that we're in here. You know, looking at the daily too, it's just such a difficult chart to work with. You know, it's much different when we were just straight uptrending. You just look for a sweep of a low and, you know, there you go. But this sort of market is definitely difficult, but a good place to learn, I guess, right? So I'm not really sure what I'm looking for tomorrow. I need to see what happens in the overnight. We are generating a bunch of liquidity here to eventually, at some point, go run that to the upside. Maybe we are just sort of generating some liquidity to then go rebalance, you know, into this area. I was using this candle just as like the FOMC price leg, but yeah, I don't know. I think like I might just really have to sit back on a like a 1 hour chart and look for something external to be taken, you know, something like this buy side level or this sell side level here to be taken before I really like form a bias. And I think that's logically, like, you know, the best thing to do is wait for something like that. I mean, you know, the opportunity inside of here is definitely subpar compared to if we were to take one of these levels, but easier said than done. You know, I apparently don't even have the discipline to wait for a fair value gap, so I gotta tighten up a bit. But we have this big SMT, so I'm curious if that holds. But then it was also, it's like awkward because this was an SMT here. So this low, we did take that. So that's not an SMT, but I guess this is the SMT. But like, I don't know, that's pretty disgusting. I kind of want to look for shorts, honestly. Like, I don't think I really believe in this SMT. But again, well, we have this huge 1 hour. I'm just gonna have to see how this 1 hour reacts, before going into tomorrow. And I think tomorrow is like a no news Wednesday, so we'll see what happens. A lot of news on Thursday, and it's a short week. Friday, no trades. So yeah, I hope you guys made some money. Hope you stayed disciplined, followed your plan, and like always, if I take another trade, like tomorrow, I'll make another video. So just gonna do my best to stay disciplined and try to get my mind right before going into trading tomorrow. So at least I kept the losers relatively small. I did stack up a decent losing day, but it's nothing that I can't recover from. So that's the one good thing about days like this. So with that, peace out. Have a good night.